What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius video, and today we're going over the unit, ability, awakenings, enhancements of these characters that we were waiting for. They actually did come out. I'm pretty sure they were going to because they said May they had to come out. So we're going to go over each of these and tell you guys what I think about them. So Roberta. I have seen two sides of the coin here from you guys. Some people think she's OP, the most broken thing ever. She's going to be the greatest thing in the world. And other people are like, it's kind of disappointing. It's not the best thing in the world, and we're not exactly excited for it yet. We gotta wait on her 7-star. So let's look at it and see what really it is. So she gets Pike Master, which essentially is going to give her an increased attack. It's Spear Mastery to 100% and increase her jump damage by 50%. Which, you know, as a Dragoon, you're always going to like that. Plus, you're going to put a spear in her hand, 100% attack, pretty good there. Then Mystic Thrust, which was her chaining move, gets some changes. Okay? And we're going to go to some of the changes. So if you use Ice Breath, Lightning Breath, or Fire Breath first, it's going to enhance what's about to happen with Mystic Thrust, okay? So, physical damage 5 times. If you use last turn, Ice Breath, Lightning Breath, or Fire Breath, decrease the element, you know, Ice, Fire, or Lightning by 75% for 5 turns. That is a long time and a big, 75% is a lot to imperil here. But the thing I am going to point out is that you have to use the Ice Breath, the Lightning Breath, the Fire Breath before you use Mystic Thrust, and then you get to do one of those. Which normally you only want one of those, like Lightning, Fire, Ice. You probably only want one of those. If you're doing Ice, you're probably using Fravia. She already has 75%. Fire is like, I kind of just want Ace on my team if I'm Fire imperiling anyway. And Lightning, I guess you could find uses for Lightning. So while these numbers are awesome, and while maybe not everyone have the units that I just said, talked about, it's good, and it's a nice perk to have on the unit. So let's put it that way. But there are other uses I could see other people using to imperil for me as we go on. Fire Breath, it enables the following turn Mystic Blitz +2. So Mystic Thrust is going to turn into Mystic Blitz, and then it's going to be a 5 times multiplier once you get it all the way awakened instead of the 4 times multiplier. Okay, guys? So that's a lot. That's a big multiplier on the thing, and you can see the hit count is increased to 8. Attack frames have changed, and what that means is she's going to be able to chain with Prompto. She's going to be able to chain with Sephiroth, and some people that use Pod, she's going to be able to chain with them to, the pod, the TMR. There are certain units that are going to be able to do that. They've changed it to where it doesn't, I don't think it makes her go forward and, use the Mystic Thrust or whatever to chain with. She could just use it from where she's standing, and that's important because it allows her to chain with people like Sephiroth, etc. Now, this is the one that most people are, drooling at the mouth about, and I've just heard bad things from people actually trying to use it in action, and that is Death Crimson. One of the things I do want to point out, guys, before moving on, is that Mystic Thrust and Death Crimson cost a lot of power crys to enhance. So if you're going to be enhancing Roberta, I think you choose Mystic Thrust or Death Crimson. You do not enhance them both unless she's just going to be somebody on your team for a long time to come, and I just don't see that being the case, personally. So, Death Crimson's going to go all the way up to a 4 times with jump delay, 1 turn to 1 enemy. If used after jump, recover jump, raging thrust, ice breath, all of these different moves, it becomes that move where it chains up and then she comes down with a jump ability. And there are huge multipliers on there, guys. 7 times and 5.5 times. Those are awesome multipliers. They're very big. Excuse me. So, if this actually worked, she would be able to chain up and then finish for herself. But from what I'm hearing reports about is she couldn't, that wasn't the case before she got enhanced. And they didn't do anything to the chaining after the fact. So it's not the case now. So while she can do big buttloads of damage and then she could be able to chain it, that would make her do mad damage. It actually just doesn't work. From what I've been understanding, now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these people reporting it aren't doing it right. They're not chaining right. But as far as what I've heard, it's not easy and it's not working that well. So if I was picking one, Death Crimson or Mystic Thrust, I would be going with Mystic Thrust to chain with because you have people, Sephiroth should be all over your friends list that you can chain with. Maybe some Robertas will pop up, but I'm not thinking she's going to be up there a lot. So overall, how are her enhancements? Not the best in the world. She's going to be doing the most jump damage for a long time to come with Death Crimson if you go that way, with all of her jump enhancements, but without the ability to make her fall on command like some 7-stars in JP got, Dragoons, she's just not that great. So sadly, we're going to have, in my opinion, Roberta staying on the bench. She's waiting there until maybe, unless she's your only chainer, until maybe she gets her 7-star upgrade to where she becomes a Dragoon where you can time her finishing abilities, do a lot of damage. She could probably get in there and one-shot a lot of the dragons, like the dragon raids and stuff like that if you need to. If you need to take down a dragon, she's going to be doing a lot of damage. But besides that, this is my opinion, guys. And until I see it actually work easily with her chaining her physical damage and then ending with a jump delay with 1 turn, She's just not worth enhancing, to be honest, for me. But let's move on. I hope I didn't disappoint too many people, but that's just my honest opinion. We're looking at Zyrus here, my boy, with the awesome name. Bloodscar becomes fixed damage. Let's see. Fixed damage 999, recovery MP 999 to caster. Fixed damage 333 to caster. Recovery MP 199 to caster. So the MP goes up, the fixed damage goes down on how much it does to you, and increases your limit gauge by 3. And one of the things about Zyrus was his limit burst. You want to build it up, do as much damage as you can with it. Let's go ahead and pull up Zyrus over here so we can talk about his limit burst too. So Zyrus has a limit burst, which is actually one of the things you'd build up and then try to one-shot things with is the Blood Hydra. Now, did that get enhanced? That'd be cool if they started enhancing, I didn't think it did, enhancing Limit Burst, wouldn't it? But if you max it out, to be 7.4 times the one enemy, increases magic 104 for 3 casted turns, enables the following abilities for 2 turns. So you essentially turn on the ability to cast 2, you do a big multiplier on your magic damage, and you unlock the ability to cast 2 of your bigger blood spells. So that's essentially what his upgrade kit is doing. It's allowing him to build up the crystals faster. Blood Rage as a support, increase limit burst fill rage 100% for 2 turns. Wait, drops below 33%. If I could talk, I'm trying to talk too fast. Increase limit burst gauge fill rate 150% for 3 turns when HP drops below 99%. Whew, I don't know why I couldn't say that. So at any time, if he is to take damage, his HP, his limit burst fill rate is going up by 150% because 99% is fine or whatever. So what that's going to allow him to do is, again, he has Blood Scar, which doesn't kill him doesn't pretty much kill him anymore, gives him more MP and fills up his limit burst gauge by 3. Then he has this ability to put up his fill rate by 150% if he takes damage. So essentially, this is going to trigger if you have Blood Scar and enhance and you do that damage to yourself, it's going to trigger the fill rate to be up. Okay, let's look at Blood Rend. Goes from a 2.5 to 1 enemy if using after flare 5 times to water magic damage 7.5 times the 1 enemy. If used after flare, water magic 5 times the 1 enemy, that goes away and it increases limit burst gauge 2 to caster. So essentially they're getting rid of the flare because they thought that was bad. I guess they're saying you don't have to use it after flare. It's going to do 7.5 times the 1 enemy, and then it's going to increase your limit burst gauge 2 to caster. So again, he's built all around building up his limit burst. Then we have Blood Pulsar here. It goes up to some big 10.5 time damage if you use it consecutively. Magic damage, 4 times the increase limit burst 2 to caster. So then you can get to the point where you cast Blood Pulsar, build it up to that big 10.5. Use his limit burst when you can so you can cast these Blood Pulsar abilities, or blood abilities, excuse me, more often. Did Zyrus get a big enough upgrade to come off the deck and be able to be used, guys? I don't think I'm using my my enhancement materials. I don't think I'm using my sadly, I'm not using my Gil here because he just doesn't do enough. There are going to be more units out there that you're going to want to enhance. There's going to be more units you're going to want to turn to 7-star. Gil is going to be very important, so I wouldn't be wasting him on Zyrus either. Now let's talk about Merc Ramza, the guy I hate, the bane of my existence. I got to tip my hat to Merc Ramza and what Gumi did. Gumi turned Merc Ramza all the way around. Merc Ramza used to be a useless tank that really didn't do anything, and what they've created into now is a tank, a single target provoking tank that can actually survive and be really good on your team. They gave Stone Throw, so it used to just be fixed damage to one enemy 400, right? They gave Stone Throw AoE damage, 2,500 fixed damage, increased chance of being targeted by 100% for 3 turns, mitigate damage taken 40% during those 3 turns. It essentially becomes enhanced impregnable that does damage. Okay, so he's throwing rocks at everybody. Everybody hates him. It's hitting him. That was something he was very much needed. He needed it very much. And they gave it to him. It's impregnable. Wilhelm's, if you didn't know, impregnable is Wilhelm's ability where he pulls in the attacks 100%, 40% damage mitigation. That's great. Looking at True Hero, increase resist to all status elements 100%. So status elements aren't touching our provoke tank. Very good. Also, we get increased resist to charm. So if we're ever in trouble of getting charmed, we don't have to worry about that with Merc Ramza. Increase resist to all elements by 15%. That's all of them. So building him up to be 100% maybe resist to a certain element, you know, it just got a little bit easier with that 15%. Very good enhancement there. Blade of Justice. Now, this is his chaining move if you were going to chain with him, but we're not. But we are going to have to use this ability during his rotation. It used to just be a physical damage, ignore defense, damage to one enemy. It was useless. He was a tank. Why is he doing damage? Now, when you use it, it's going to decrease attack and magic by 45% to that one enemy. So he has 45% break to attack and magic, right? Then, after you use that, you guys can use Weapon Break or Mind Break, and it decreases the respective stat by 60%. Those breaks are massive to have on a tank, which is insane. Okay, so that is going to be his big plus. On top of the fact that he can raise Asunga, he has a little bit of supporting stats. This is going to be his big draw here. So he has the Stone Throw he can cast on turn 1, in my opinion, is what he's going to be able to do, right? So he has to draw on the attacks. Then he's going to be able to break attack and magic by 45%. And then on turn 3, depending on which one you want to do, you can do Weapon Break or Mind Break to decrease their respective stat by 60%, which is a massive number. Again, we've talked about how much breaks can be good, okay? 6 turns, by the way. 6 turns. So that's going to be your first opening rotation. The only thing I see you're missing out on here is that on turn 1, if you're using him specifically for your tank and specifically for your breaker, there aren't going to be any breaks on turn 1. We have to use Stone Throw. But that's very, very good. I can't stress that enough. Moving on. Branded Heretic. Used to just be increased magic by 50% when equipped with a robe on a tank. But now it's been changed. If you have a robe on, you're going to get magic and spirit up by 50%. Spirit. That's what we want on a tank. We want some spirit and defense. If you have light armor on, it's going to do attack and defense by 50%. If you have heavy armor on, which is probably more what you're going to put on him, attack and defense by 50%. Those are massive buffs. He gets the ability to put his defense and spirit up depending on what he has equipped. And we didn't want to put a robe on him anyway, right? He's a tank. We want to put the heavy armor on. So he's going to get 50% more defense. Amazing. True Justice also got a big buff. Instead of defense and spirit 15% when equipped with a light shield, we can throw that heavy shield on him. You can still put the light shield on, but more than likely you're going to throw that heavy shield on him. And if you do, you're going to get defense and spirit 30%. So it's been up by 15% more, and you increase your HP by 20%. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of math over here. Now remember, if you guys know Claic math, I do math wrong all the time. But I think I pretty much got this down. These are the base stats for Wilhelm, the base stats for Merc Ramza when they've been stat potted up and taken into account all of their different passives that they get with their kits. So this is after fully enhanced. And as you can see, Ramza has a choice of having either 100% spirit buff or having 50% added to that defense. So you can either put the robe on for more spirit, or you can put the heavy armor on, which is the more the option I think you're going to take in here for 50% more defense. You can see the stats are very close. Wilhelm is still winning in a lot of the stats here, except for the defense if you go the defense route and the HP and things like that. But Merc Ramza is right on par with that. Merc Ramza also, again, has that 15% to status elements. Merc Ramza has Charm Resist. Merc Ramza isn't just 50% to status elements, 100% to status elements, and can break up to 60% once you build him up, and has the 45% break if you need. So Merc Ramza, very good. I'm not going to put him on there with Wilhelm. If you already have Wilhelm built up, I don't think you need Merc Ramza, unless it comes into a case where, like, you really want to use the breaks or you just want to use him as a character. I just don't want you guys wasting your stat pots or your enhancements. But guys, if you only have Merc Ramza, you've been waiting on a single target tank, you don't have Wilhelm, you want to have a big tanky boy, or you just want to use Ramza, he is that good now. They have upgraded him very much so. Be very excited about that. Moving on down to Knight Delita, they did do some good changes with him. He actually has the damage output and the attack passives, and he has a new killer ability. As you can see here, increased physical damage against humans. So what did they do to change him? Essentially, they changed Commanding Blade, physical damage 3 times with an order defense 50% to one enemy, adding lightning damage to physical attacks for 5 turns or whatever. So they've upgraded how much damage this is. It used to be a 2 times, they put it up to a 3 times, and it's going to allow him to put the lightning on his physical attacks. So that, that way he can chain up with lightning if he needs to. A little bit of a damage increase, that's awesome. War Hero, increased resist to blind, sleep, and paralyze. Once enhanced, does the blind, sleep, and paralyze. Increases limit burst gauge fill rate by 50%. Here's another attack buff right here. Attack 30%. So the limit burst fill rate is fine, but we really want that attack 30% if we're going to be using Knight Delita, but I don't think you are going to be, because his chaining frames are weird. You're not going to have a lot of friends unless a lot of your friends put Knight Delita up. I'm not saying he's terrible, but in the game of FFBE, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, it's all about chaining. It's all about maximizing what your team can do. So if Knight Delita doesn't have a lot of chaining friends on your friends list, you're going to be in trouble there. Black Sheep Knight. Increase attack 30% when equipped with a sword. Increase attack 20% when equipped with a heavy armor. Increase attack from 30% to 60%. So that's another 60. That's another 30%. So that's 60% total. Then another 20%. That's 80%. He gets 80% more attack with these enhancements. Knight Delita goes up 80%. On his stats, 80% attack, because we go from 20% to 40%, 30% to 60%, and then it added 30%. It's actually insane on his thing. And then he also gets more damage against humans. So again, like I said, he's becoming very strong. He's becoming someone you can use. However, I don't think he'll be meta. I don't think that he'll be super duper insane. Super duper. He's going to be strong. Yes, he will be strong. Can he compete with some of the top chainers? Yes. You know, probably beating Orlando at this point, but he's not in that chaining family. You know, he doesn't have a lot of people he can chain with. So again, pretty cool enhancements. They did him right, but if you have enough people to chain with, test him out if you want to, but you're going to have to spend power, support, and tech crystal on him, and then you may be disappointed if you can't find people to chain with. Okay, just want to point that out. Meliadoul. So Meliadoul got some changes. We're not going to go over each one of them here, but essentially she got the ability, you know, auto revive goes up to 100% HP for 5 turns, which is really good. She could put mitigate damage taken 15% for 5 turns on one ally. She can put a heal on them that can go on there now instead of just increasing the defensive spirit by 45%. But there's one of these things I really... Oh yeah, this is it. So essentially her breaks go from 40% up to 50%. So she used to be, for me, she used to be somebody that could come on your team, do a little breaking, and then do the auto revive, because she was like a 4-star unit that had auto revive. So now her auto revive got better, and her breaks became 50%, which is phenomenal. So I can see her finding her way into teams during trials and things like that. But don't spend the, if you have better breakers, you're not going to be worried about Meliadoul, but that's what you would use her for if you would. Orran, honestly, I'm not going anything on Orran. Orran did not become anything you're going to be looking for at all. He just doesn't have, like, so he's increasing defense by 100% for 3 turns of all allies, right? Name the song. Spirit, 100%. Auto revive, 100% for 3 turns of all allies. Like, it's 20% chances that these happen. They're random. You don't want to worry about random stuff. It's not worth it. And then he doesn't really do anything else that we're worried about. Moogle ain't there either. We're going to be skipping him, Moogle. But this is another one I want to talk about, Cerius. Cerius went from Bar Fireaga, Bar Blazaga, Bar Thundaga. They went up to 100%. So they were 70%. So now they're up to 100%. So if you need your fire resist up by 100%, looking at you, Ifrit 3-star. If you need your ice resist up by 100%, Shiva just got easier. Shiva 3-star. Ramu, you need your light resist up by 100%. We got you with Cerius, okay? These are things you can actually enhance. They cost green crys. You don't use those that often. Very good there. And then Heart of Light went up to 70% for dark resist. Increase resist to petrify 100%, which is pretty cool. And then he actually has a heal now. Heal, what is this? 10,000 HP, 10 times multiplier splitter, 4 times all allies. He can also be a side healer right here, guys, with petrify resist. Cyrus is actually pretty good, and as a green mage, might be taking him to a lot more parties. Actually, is Cyrus a him or a her? I don't want to be saying it's a him and it's a girl. Oh, no. Female. That almost got me in the comments. You probably already commented, now you're watching the video. She! Cerius is a she. I don't know why I always think it's a he. My bad, guys. But yeah, so overall, these enhancements are actually quite incredible from some of the things they did for Merc Ramza and Knight Delita. And Cerius. Honestly, Cerius is probably one of the better green mages in the game right now, even compared to Marie, the 6-star one. Cerius is going to hold her weight very well. So I hope you guys are excited. I know a lot of people out there, I don't like... Okay, the reason I don't like Merc Ramza is because I literally wanted Knight Delita so bad for the TMR for tanks. If everybody keeps wondering why I wanted Knight Delita, it was for that TMR. His TMR is amazing for tanks. But I pulled like 3 or 4 Merc Ramza instead because they were on the double 5-star banner. So that's why I had this hate for him. But a little bit of the hate's fallen off now that he's become a non-useless unit and actually can hold his own when it comes to tanking and can help a lot of people out when they need it. And actually, now that he's this good, it makes that tank banner a little bit better. Because if you pull Merc Ramza, it's a pretty good choice for you. And a 7-star gets AoE covers. So... yeah, think about that if you end up pulling a couple of him. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you think I'm wrong about Roberta, or you're happy that Merc Ramza is doing well, or if you're going to start using Knight Delita as a chainer, and subscribe for future content. I forgot what I was going to say. Catch you next video.